This happened on Sunday because aside from having just a united service, we had, I believe it was like 10 pastors inaugurated, and we had 66 baptisms from all the different churches that were coming. That was just on our first day because we had no idea what was happening. This was basically the view that you saw 24/7 here. And that was the little road down to our chapel. Resident volcano that was next door to us that we hoped would explode. This was at the equator because, yes, I was to the center, or middle of the world. We were actually right next to, what was it, Colombia? Yeah, we could see Colombia's little mountain range. It was cool. That was the bridge we had to cross almost every day to go to Steve's house, so in Esteban. That's his little house over there. And we had to climb all that. That was us before leaving, all happy and not tired. This was our cabin in the mountain camp because we had two. We went to the mountains to be with the kids for the VBS for the 3 days, and then we went to the jungle camps where a select group of us, myself included, went to one of the river communities to go do VBS. That was interesting. This was when I was a teacher on the Sunday where they pulled me right off after getting all the kids. This was my group of kids at VBS. This was the middle class. Christopher is right there with the little stripes. He was probably trying to hide a scripture and cheat because they had to memorize on that day. This was a different group, but we always started our stuff off with music and songs and whatnot. The kids would always be crazy to go try and learn the dances and play the instruments and whatnot. So we would show them a little bit before we actually got into the stuff. Yeah, we had dish duty. Every team had to do something to help around the camp. We had, I believe it was lunchtime. I'm not in this picture because I got pulled away to go do some translating thing because the kid was missing. Yeah, we had a lot of those. Favorite thing of the kids, if you ever go to a mission trip or just anything with kids, face painting, they love it. We had every single kid try and line up at the same time. That was a mess because they were all literally jumping over each other to get face painted. This was the baptism on Sunday. You see the line of the white robes? All of them going. This was before the Colosseum was filled up. Yeah, there was no walking room. Each pastor dunked their own person from their church. That was the road we had to climb to get to our cabins. That's the ladies that were on this trip. More baptism. Oh, this is my friend Lucecita. She's a stray that I apparently bonded with when we went hiking to go to the waterfalls. She's asleep right now. I don't know why she rolled over. And she refused to eat from anybody except for me and or drink. And then when I had to eat, she just kind of looked at the bus, drive off, and I was just like, I'm sorry. It was too much legal work to try and get her to come over. More scenery. Down over here is you see the towns in little places. My kids, that's Hennessy. She's a firecracker. She's like me, very outspoken. She hit Christopher because he hit her with a ball. That was an interesting time to deal with. Our bus got stuck. I will not tell you the story that went along with this because that's for a different time. Other buses, we would ride up here. That was fun. We'd fight for the top one because we liked it. The bridge, because we were rebuilding it. That's what these are for, because we hauled wood all the way from up here down to the riverbank. That was fun. I broke my finger with that one. I wasn't kidding when I said there was no room. That's like the beginning portion of the church. That's not even showing the back. I think the back's next. No, that's a monkey. We fed monkeys and they tried to steal our stuff. Okay, there's the back. 800 people. Some didn't even make it inside and they literally just spent the entire day hanging out at the camp. with us, hearing us talk. Some, after the service that weren't even in, went to go talk to the pastors because they just wanted to spend the day with us. We fed them lunch and all that stuff and took care of the kids. It was fun. This was the bonfire where everything came out. And we have this kind of like a reflection time where we all talk about what's actually going on, what's going through our minds. What have we felt throughout that trip? It was interesting to hear what some of the people had to say. This was the city of Quito during the day after we left the hotel, or before. The canoe rides. Yay! This was my group of girls. Yeah, we drove on trucks the entire time. The back of trucks was just our thing when we weren't in the red brick, the bus. This was the entrance to Quito. No, I like pate. It's pate. More chacaco. This was the top of the waterfall because we climbed underneath the waterfall. This was the jungle camp. This was what you would know kind of as a church building, but because we're in the jungle, it doesn't work that way. The first morning we were at the jungle camp, we built 80 benches, cut them, sealed them, sanded them again, painted them again, and built them in a matter of like 6 hours with the 40 of us, because the 2 weeks after we left, they were going to have over 300 kids there for VBS. Yeah, that was the size of everything in the jungle camp. That's not even big. There was a grasshopper the size of that made me fall in my butt. That was not okay. This is Eva. The waterfall. Us again. That's our camp, but from the neighbor's yard that we weren't technically supposed to be on, but we went over there because there was horses. This is an interesting little story. This is the Quichua church at, where were we? I don't know, it was late. We went up there at like 10 to go try and preach, and I had to translate. That was fun. But not even like 10, 12 years ago, this church only had 11 members. They were being persecuted by the community because they weren't a non-believing community. They were set in their ways, in the Quichua way. And these 11 people, one night, they were meeting in secret in one of the houses. The entire community came over, and for 3 days were throwing things at the house or trying to beat in the walls. The third day, they made it in. They dragged the 11 people out of the house. They stripped them because that was the most embarrassing thing you could do to a person. They beat them. They kind of had like this mixture made from leaves that would burn your skin like it was acid. And they took them to the top of the mountain and chained them over there so they would freeze. They all made it up because one of the people managed to get their chains freed and had other people. And they marched back in to their town and continued to praise God. Because they didn't care that they were going to get persecuted. They knew that there was a good chance that they would die, that they were going to get death threats and everything. That didn't matter to them. They were going to stay true to their faith. And now, their church is 50 strong and that community is Christian now. 12 years ago, they were on the death row, and now everybody's seeing the wrong. There was actually a daughter there that I believe I think it was her, older woman. But her father was still there. He was still alive. He was one of the people that actually beat her. He beat his own daughter because of how he wanted to stay in tradition, and that he could not stand that she had gone off into something new that wasn't the Quichua way. Learned his lesson now. He was actually in the church. We got to talk to him. Interesting little way of how things work. The waterfall. This was interesting. This was the springs in Laos. This was 15,000 feet up above sea level. They're supposedly hot springs. They don't look like hot springs right now because they wanted to keep the natural way of how it was. and they just filtered kind of the water into these pools because they didn't want to mess with the rocks and how it normally is. You didn't know which ones were hot or which ones were cold. You jumped into one, you kind of were doing a double hitter. Once we figured it out, we were idiots, and we jumped into the ice cold one, see how long we could last in there, and jumped into the literally boiling hot water. That was our fun for that day before coming home. This was how towns looked inside. This was basically how the buildings were in the mountains when you weren't in the city. The Patate River, a lot of waterfalls. We actually rode a basket that was kind of like ziplining, but we rode it across here. That was fun. Hiking. Apparently, it's very, very dangerous to hike for waterfalls because a lot of people fell. It was funny. This is the river the River Patate that we went on. It was funny because the first half of it, once we docked, it was fine to put your hands in the water because there was tilapia and catfish and all that stuff in there. Once you passed a certain part, you couldn't do it because there was piranhas in the water. And if they saw something moving, you would lose a hand. That's underneath the waterfall that we went to. You see people climbing up there. More digging. This was actually a giant fire ant hill, so we came up very big, huh? That was fun. More of the towns and the mountains. Towns either had palm fronds for the roof, tarp, and or if you were lucky, metal sheets. La Canoa, another stray, because strays are my friend. This was a playground we found in the river community that we went to. And we were just messing around. And there was a little girl that was there too, but she's not there. This was our camp. They were reenacting the Titanic scene. This was piranha-infested water by now. We were hoping they would fall because they were just being special. Was our interns. The blue one in the shirt called me Mom. I don't know why. His name is Santi. And the big one, he's an American. He's actually from Melbourne. His name is Chris. He was special. Caleb. Okay, I'm gonna stop here because I'm pretty sure we're more pictures and I'm pretty sure they're the same thing. This was my main group. The blonde on Caleb's right, your left, she did not want to go on this trip at all. It got to the point where I had to sit outside from our cabins with her for a good hour and a half until like 2 in the morning to calm her down. Because she was having full-blown panic attack. She did not want to be there. She didn't want to deal with the people. She wanted to be home with her family, with her boyfriend. That was what she wanted. She basically was guilted into this trip by her family and Shaq. But at the end of it, if you heard her on Sunday, she was grateful that she went. She made connections with the kids. She had amazing time with them. She made a bond with us, basically, because we barely talked for this trip. We made a bond with a friend that is still in Ecuador and is encouraging us to go back and intern. Alicia, she was having to cope with her family. Well, her family helped her, but her best friend getting shipped off while she was gone. She could not see him. She could barely talk to him because we barely had reception up where we were. She had to go with that. After that day, she went down a little bit, but we all helped each other through it. I kind of had to be the strong one, even though I was having anxiety attacks every morning because I didn't know what the heck was going to happen that day. Especially because we were told that we were going to do disaster relief, but nobody ever did anything about that, so they lied about that. But he was an interesting character. He kind of brought my attention to certain things that I chose to ignore that were wrong in my life, that was wrong with how I thought. And we still talk today. Today we couldn't because he was in jungle camp, but yeah, that was us. And we're still debating about the baptismal pool in front of the house, but that was